Hey, it's Aaron, Metal Theologian. Yeah, no topic tonight, man. Just like shit I'm listening to, and I don't know, that's about it, really. Yeah, I've been thinking about some of the early metal a lot because I've been listening to a lot of Rainbow. And man, that shit really has. It's not the same thing as 80s epic metal, but it really captures the same sort of spirit, you know what I mean? It really has the same feeling, and it's funny. I've actually been playing Long Live Rock and Roll the most. I just talked about this a couple of videos ago. But all these fucking records are right here. I've only been listening to the Dio ones. I really like the one with Graham Bonnet. Yeah, but you know, these first three, so I think everyone knows what they are. But this is one I've been listening to the most. And it's really like an epic metal record, man. It just feels so fully realized, you know? It's like when they go off in like the really long sort of ballads and the slow parts, they sort of lose their way a little bit. And I don't think within their own context. I mean the context of, if you're actually going to try and package this and resell it as like an 80s epic metal record, you know, like that Commander record where they covered Kill the King and the whole record kind of keeps up with that pace, that awesome record. This is sort of like, this doesn't quite, it isn't as fully dedicated to metal as that is. But for the second half of the 1970s, man, you really can't fucking beat Rainbow. And it's funny because in a way I snoozed on them for a long time because I don't know, man. I used to always, you know, here's what it boils down to, man. You watch these fucking videos that I make, and I always change my mind about these fucking bands, right? Like, I'll talk about a band. I mean, there are some that I love. Like, I mean, I've absolutely, unequivocally loved Slayer since I started this channel, and that's not going to change, right? But all these sorts of bands are on the periphery. I changed my mind so much, and it's like, I look way back when I was like fucking like 14 and just like starting to listen to Rainbow and going back and forth on them a little bit for certain reasons. It all seems stupid now. It's just, I guess I just used to agonize over shit like back when I was that age too, the same way I do now. I think I just have more fun with it now. Because, you know, the stakes feel a lot higher when you're a kid. Especially when you identify with the shit so much. And if you're watching this channel, you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I kind of felt like talking about this one because I pulled this out. This is a reissue of the Loosely Tight record. If an original comes my way, I might I'll seize an opportunity, but it's not like a top grail that I've been hunting for, you know what I mean? It is a rare record, though, the original, so I was kind of stoked to be able to check it out. And, you know, it's a pretty cool rock and roll record, you know what I mean? It's like hard rock, and it's heavy enough that I'll file this in the metal section, that's okay, you know, I won't be too mad about it, you know? But, you know what's really funny about this record is the fucking AOR moves, man. Like, this singer really kind of sounds a lot like Lou Gramm. I'll bump it ahead because this fucking repeat to fade isn't very conducive to that. But once he gets in the next verse, he really has the Lou Gramm thing going, and like sort of the inflections. That I like. This is a more metallic riff than the last one, but that sort of pedal in the bass, you know, is some real AOR shit. It's funny, man, because Alan kind of likes some of the soft shit. He makes videos where he talks about death metal and shit. But it seems like when the chips are down, he'll side with a band like Loosely Tight or like Mendy's Prey, you know, not really the Venoms of the world. So, yeah, let's talk metal. Maybe it should be more like let's talk AOR. And maybe Chromie D should be a regular on there, you know, instead of Marty with all his fucking like harsh metal shit, you know. Anyway, if you're not subscribed to Let's Talk Metal or Heavy Metallurgy, you should be subscribed to both. Not to mention Chromium Dioxide Radio, who appears to be doing some new things. I think it's hilarious. This just seems like such a funny thing to be so rocking out to, you know? But, you know, I've been thinking about making a whole video about my, sort of going back and forth with shit, my agonizing and that sort of thing. Like actually, here's an example. Here's an example of one. This is a different kind of problem, right? Because I like this record. I really do. It has some pretty corny moments, but it's pretty rockin'. It's about as good as they look. Or just to say, not great, but pretty fucking good. And definitely enjoyable, you know? That's really exactly what this record is. But the thing is, I don't feel like I have much intelligence to say about this. They're Spanish. You know, I could go on Wikipedia or fucking somewhere online and try and find some information about the band, but you can do that too. You know, I want to tell you something interesting about this. And this fucking record has been sitting here for like 2 months. And I've been putting it on like once a week going, what can I say about this fucking record? Because I played it, I want to talk about it, you know, but I don't feel like I have anything to say, man. So sometimes good records slip through the cracks on this channel. I don't remember why I brought that up. Except to say that, you know, I tend to go back and forth on shit kind of a fair bit. And I was thinking about making a video on like some of my favorite cheesy records. Like I pulled this one out too, you know. And this record, you know, some we're gonna, you know, some I know I'll get a fucking ad put on the video if I put this on. I might not with that, but I have before with Mistreated. This fucking record is so corny. It's like loaded with synths and shit, and like all the songs are like super hooky, but like as far as how hard it is, you can call it AOR. But it just doesn't have any of the AOR trappings, you know what I mean? It doesn't use any of the AOR idioms. It uses like a little bit of metal, but what it really uses the idioms of like 1979 era pomp rock with like the big synths and shit like that. And I don't know, somehow it still manages to come across a metal album, man. But these guys are French and super corny and fucking great, man. So yeah, you know, I could like probably spend some time talking about why I love a record like this, but I really don't have any use at all for a band like Great White. And I think a big part of it is that a lot of the American shows is just too blues based for me. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff, when like all they do is the blues, it's like, I mean, I've come around on blues rock already. You know what I mean? I've really gotten to a point where I really like early Fleetwood Mac. You know, the ones before the girls joined the band, basically. And you know, I mean, there are a lot of bands actually that I like better. I appreciate Led Zeppelin a lot more since I got into blues rock. It still feels new to me because I just got into blues rock since I started my channel. In fact, it was kind of one of the first things that I really sort of discovered or rediscovered through the vinyl community here on YouTube. Because I think that's one of the best things you can get out of a community like this. Is, I mean, it's cool to like get into like a new genre that you never thought about before, but it's also really cool when somebody can give you a new way of looking, or a new reason to appreciate something you have known for a long time. So I always sort of like telling people my entry point for that blues rock stuff was Savoy Brown. So not like the Allman Brothers or like one of these more sort of highly regarded bands. It was just really sort of a, you know, ordinary kind of, you know, hard-working band. I mean, I don't know if Savoy Brown was really a hard-working band, but they seem to put out a lot of records. The point is not the top tier necessarily. It's just I learned to appreciate the idioms, you know what I mean? So that's always kind of stayed with me. Yeah, all right. So, this record, yeah, it's funny, I pulled out a few other ones, like some corny ones. Like when I started reaching for the corny shit, I gotta go with Demon, right? I mean, those first two Demons are just such gems, you know? And I was actually hyping this one too. Eric Bauer for your bingo card. I don't even know why the fuck we got on this band, because it's a lot cornier than the sort of shit I normally recommend. But the hooks on this are just so fucking good. And yes, it is this record, by the way. Like, I didn't mix these up. If you're like brand new and you've never seen this before, this fucking record, like this evil looking record, I mean, even the back is like kind of intimidating in a really sort of more vague way. You know, it's like there's nothing like openly evil about this. There's just something creepy about the way it's photographed. It's awesome. I remember seeing this when I was like 12 or 11. And I was like religious, and I was like, oh Jesus. Anyway, this record is fucking loaded with hooks. It is almost so slick that it makes you sick a little bit, but not quite. And actually, the production's actually just really good. And just compared to the shit I usually listen to, it's kind of too clean for me, you know? Their playing is great. Really strong singer on these first couple records, so yeah. Fucking Demon. But yeah, another one, man, this is another one that's kind of hard to, this fucking Shiva record is pretty corny too. I mean, it has a lot of that kind of AOR shit going on the same way that this does. You hear how Lou Grammy sounds, by the way? Totally. Yeah, this band, like, when I got Heavy Metal Heroes too, like, the song En Cachant is on there. And first of all, it has a French title from an English band, so it's already, like, you're all getting off on the wrong foot, buddy. But, I thought that was one of the worst songs in that comp. And Heavy Metal Heroes 2 is a lot weaker than Heavy Metal Heroes 1. Okay, I mean, I've come around on that record considerably, but compared to Heavy Metal Heroes 1, it's just fucking crap. That first one is an all-time classic. In fact, here's a little tip for the metal theologian. If you want to start collecting new wave of British heavy metal LPs, I think that Heavy Metal Heroes 1 on Heavy Metal Records out of the UK, you need definitely before the Angel Witch LP, definitely before either Witchfinder General record. You probably need the first Iron Maiden first. And I'd probably put it on about the same level as Venom, but otherwise, man, nothing else holds a candle to that fucking record, except maybe Rock Snacks, which is also a comp, which has even more obscure bands. But I'm telling you, get Heavy Metal Heroes 1. Look, last one I had, it pissed me off, by the way, but I did 10 fucking suggested records. Like, here are 10 great records, and everyone seemed to think it was a fucking top 10. It's like, oh, well, I would have taken out this one and put this one in. I'm like, I'll just make another 10 then, dude. It's just fucking 10 records, you know? But here's the thing, I'm not really mad about it, because if someone else made a top 10 video and they came up with that list, I would go, that's a pretty good list. Anyway, this record, you know, if I wanted to shit on it a little bit more, I'd say it sounded like Rush. I just feel like this is unpretentious in a way that Rush is not. Like, Rush, I just always feel like they're putting me on. You know what I mean? With Rush, it always kind of feel like, it feels like kind of, it feels like they're playing some fucking game, man. You know, and I can hang with Rush. I don't hate Rush. I'm pretty far from what you call a Rush fan. I don't think I have any of their records anywhere. I might have a copy of Caress of Steel, but I don't think so. But, you know, I've had a few of their records here and there. I just think they're kind of, it's like, it's like they're playing some really complicated game over there at the game shop, you know what I mean? And I walk in because I'm looking for like science fiction books or something, and I'm poking around. I have a specific shop in mind. So there's some people playing this fucking game, and I sort of look over at the board and go, that looks kind of interesting, but I really kind of don't give a shit. And I go back about my business. That's like the kind of band Rush is to me. And these guys, fucking Shiva, are great, man. This is not, if you're looking, again, new wave British heavy metal LPs, because this is a NWOBHM record, you know, it's 1982, it's on Heavy Metal Records. I mean, it's barely a metal record, is the truth, but, you know, it's kind of like a prog record with some metal trappings is what it really is. But it's a really easy to listen to prog record with where the solos aren't overly long or anything like that. There's just a real sort of awareness of the craft as they're writing it that doesn't spill over into self-importance, you know what I mean? It just feels like a really good record, and yeah, it has some kind of AOR moves on from time to time that I needed a few listens to get used to, you know? But, you know, again, some of my favorite songs out here, like En Cachant is great, or Angel of Mons. Those are some of the songs that I found the most annoying before I really got my head around this band, and now they're some of my favorites, so. Yeah, so I really like Shiva. I'm hyping this record. Looks like there's going to be a What's Spinning video, because I'm just kind of talking about whatever. Yeah, I was going to put something else on, too, but I fucking, Oh, here, I'll put this one. This one's shitty. Here's another one I pulled out because of Alan. But it's really kind of crappy, this record. Like, it looks great, and it's on Guardian. This is a really, this is sort of a classic sucker record for NWOBHM collectors. Because you go look and you learn just a little bit. You sort of peel the onion, like, past, like, you know about neat records, and you know about heavy metal records, and you're ready for a little bit more, right? So you come across Guardian Records, who put out the fucking Satan single and the Hollow Ground single and the Rock Snacks LP, which is probably the first one you hear because it's the one that had the song that made it to the Lars comp. And this is what the label looks like. So you go, yeah, To the Devil a Daughter by Incubus. That's going to be fucking good. And the cover looks like this. Like, you could say that, you know, it's shitty art, and that should be a clue. And I would say that you're exactly the opposite of right. Because that shittiness... Man, I live by that shittiness. Look at this. That's some quality shittiness. I mean, if you tell me a fucking record has a shitty looking, like, satanic cover, and this is what you deliver, A+, dude. It's a fucking S-tier shitty cover. But the record's really kind of lame, man. And that's why this is a sucker record, because it, like, everything about it fools you, and then you listen to it, and this is the extent of it. And really the only clue is that, like, most of them are named Crawford on the band, you know? It's like... But that's really not much of a clue, man. I mean, sometimes when it's all a bunch of brothers, it kind of comes off like a joke. I'm thinking like the Osmonds and that kind of shit, though, which isn't really fair, so... There are some pretty good bands with brothers, too. I'm not going to name Van Halen, though, because fuck that band. Not as hard as Pantera. I really have it in for Pantera. Van Halen... I think House of Pain is a pretty good song. Hear this? Like, it's really weak, you know? Anyway, so the fucking, what do you call it? The Loosely Tight record, you know what it was really kind of reminding me of? Is, you know, sort of continuing, like I was listening to a lot of Whitesnake recently, and then, like, I sort of felt the need to take another step down from there. So I've sort of been supplementing my Rainbow intake with some Foghat. And, I don't know, man, I really like Foghat. They're not, like, good. It's not really a band I could recommend in good conscience. But, you know, it's really easy to listen to. And, like, it rocks just hard enough that, like, when I'm cutting onions and listening to a podcast at the same time, I just sort of want something to fill the space. I don't know, man. Foghat fills the space really well, you know? But when I need to sort of when I need something to, like, break up the Whitesnake records a little bit, something like that. Yeah, Foghat is a good band to reach for. And, so it's funny hearing that Loosely Tight and going, man, this sounds really good to me, but I don't know if this would sound so good if I hadn't just been listening to a bunch of fucking Foghat. I just remembered I got a fucking, Coke I put in the freezer to get cold, and if I don't get it, it's gonna fucking explode. Yeah, I opened this root beer when I was getting started, and I knew I'd finish that before I finished shooting my mouth off in this video, so... You hear that? Like, they kind of have an idea, but it's not, like, good. I've listened to this enough times, I don't think it's terrible anymore. You know, you can sort of go, okay, but they're not as good as, you know, Foghat. I taught myself into playing this a few times, too, after hyping it in my last video. You know, it's funny, there's this rumor that, you know, these guys are from Finland, but I'm pretty sure the record was recorded in Sweden, and supposedly, this hand belongs to the dude from Bathory. Quorthon was his name. I don't remember his real name. I don't really give a shit, but... You know, it's plausible because he would have been around at the time. There weren't that many people making this kind of music. There weren't that many fucking people, period. You know what I mean? We're talking a combined total population of, what, 12 million at the time? Something like that? I think it's like 13 or 14 now, which isn't a ton. So, you know, you figure number of studios based on that, number of heavy metal bands, you know. Yeah, it's totally plausible that you could have put in an armband to hold the thing, right? but it's one of those stories where everyone heard it somewhere. You know what I mean? I haven't ever actually seen it like a I was gonna say like a reputable source, but I've never actually seen a source for it. You know what I mean? I've never heard it from anyone who would know, or who said, "Oh, I read it in like this specific interview in this thing." You know what I mean? And it's not like I go around like sort of just like reflexively disbelieving everything, but it is one of those things where I don't know, maybe especially because I've been thinking about history a lot lately, and just sort of how shaky most of what we think we know is. That, maybe it's the guy, and maybe not. And, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I knew people would comment about it though. So when they did, I said, "Oh, I thought it was this other guy," and I put something different in each one. So I might have pissed some people off. But I hope they took it in the spirit in which it was intended. I thought it was funny, and I replied to comments. So great album though. I mean. Fire in the Brain by Oz doesn't get any better than that. It's way better than this. Jesus. This is kind of a cool one to hype. It's a lot better than this one. I pulled up this Overlord record recently. Actually, because I was talking with someone who was listening to a band called Overlord. And I thought it was this band, but it was actually someone else. But in the meantime, I already pulled this record out and forgot about it. I actually sort of went down after pulling this one out and grabbed a couple of the... I really started collecting these private pressings in earnest, like sort of seeking out covers like this. 25 years ago, something like that. And, so I haven't been at it as long as Alan, but I've been at it a while. Yeah, I mean, look at this. These fucking private labels. That's just the shit. I mean, now, even now, that's the shit that I really get excited about. But, this was one of the first ones that I found. And it's funny, because a couple of the first early ones I found were really kind of crap. Like the Wages of Sin record. I'm willing to say that I am the only fan of Wheels of Steel. Oh, actually, I have a... Chromie D and I were talking. There's this record that we both want, this Mark Lowry record that, there's, one guy who, or there are, two guys who have copies of this fucking record, right, by Mark Lowry. It's called Rusty Mark in the Metal Palace. And, it's obviously going to be a piece of shit. But who likes pieces of shit like that? People like me and Chromie D. So there's some fucking guy who keeps posting one on eBay for, $900. And there's, one guy on Discogs who keeps posting one for, $700. And I'm thinking it's time that, Chromie D and I get together. And I'm telling you this in case you need to join, but I doubt you will. I expect exactly 0 comments about this. Unless Chromie D chimes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to declare a monopsony. Where it's okay, as literally the only 2 people on the planet who give the slightest fuck about this record, we are not going to give you $700 for it. So fucking come down, figure something out and play ball, or else you're just never going to sell the fucking record because nobody wants it but me. So, and I know that for pretty much a fact, so... Alright, not quite. But I've literally only met one other person who gives the slightest shit about that record. Yeah, that said, if you come across a copy of Rusty Mark in the Metal Palace by Mark Lowry and you want to let go of it, I'm interested. And if we work something out and I get it, Chromie D will be pissed. He'll be so fucking rip shit. It'll be awesome. Everyone subscribe to Chromium Dioxide Radio. A couple other ones I want to shout out real quick here. This fucking record, this is another one I know will get an ad put on the video, so. Is this good though, this fucking Overlord record? I think these guys are from New Jersey. Yeah. Ironia. I'll bet Scott Waters knows where that is. Bingo card. Look at this fucking guy. I mean, that was my principal criterion when I got this record. Am I going to believe that this guy was in the band? I fucking believe it. This is really fucking good. This is the Snow Giant. A fucking overlord from New Jersey. So these guys are Canadian, and I think there's a little more information about them out there now. But this fucking band Wicca, these guys had some fucking hooks, and these guys just rocked. Like, what this record offers is 4 just fucking hard rockin', fucking super satisfying heavy metal songs. And that's all. It's nothing less, and really nothing more, but it's so fucking good you don't need any more. Like, there are these 2 fucking guys on the back, Mike and Steve. And, like, there would appear to be 4 guys in the band. But, yeah, see, in the pre-internet days, man, we used to, like, have to make up our own stories about records like this. It's great, isn't it? It's fucking awesome. This is a really cool record, man. Fucking San Antonio Slayer. Actually, the other one right here, too. I was on the fence over which one to show first. Here, you want them mauled? So back in the early days of eBay, sometimes you get just like big lots of shit. And what I did was I had all the Slayer records already, but I was looking for this band's records. And and occasionally people like mistake these guys for the other Slayer in like a lot or something like that, right? So I ended up getting a lot of 4 records. It was what turned out to be doubles of Rain and Blood and Show No Mercy. This and this for like maybe 30, 40 bucks, something like that. So anyway, the awesome record. And y'all can mauled about that, but that was a long time ago now. It was 25 years ago. What a great, I mean, fucking, it delivers, okay? I mean, same deal, right? It's like you look at this, I mean, and here's the other thing this one delivers on. That fucking heavy cardboard. This fucking thing feels solid, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've been playing the LP a little bit more lately, though. It does feel a little bit more sort of fully formed. It's funny, I think the songs are better on this one. But this one kind of feels like a more finished product. And I really don't mean that it's better. I mean, I definitely don't mean it's, well, I definitely don't mean it's better. I don't really mean that it's worse. It's just kind of different in a way, but it's still definitely the same band. And if you like one of these, you're gonna like the other one. And if you ask me which one to get first, I mean, I always go with the EP, but that's just fucking default. It's not really the quality of the record. I think I like the EP more, but it might just be a little more sentimental because I got it maybe 6 months before I got the LP, so I don't know. Awesome record though, man. Fucking Slayer from San Antonio. Everyone should know about these guys. This is the other Slayer. There were other bands called Slayer. There was Dragon Slayer from the UK. There was Slayer from, I want to say Phoenix or something, who made some EP that even I don't have. And then there was San Antonio Slayer and Orange County Slayer. And those two, man, fucking... Yeah, and then the last one, man, this is another one of the really sort of early ones. I got this probably about 25 years ago, man. It's the fucking Sinister Angel record. I don't want to drag this out, but I'll throw it on for just a minute, too, because these guys are good. Not really as good as Wicca. More sort of understated than Wicca. And if I can't find the fucking inner... God damn it. Yep, not an audiophile channel here. Over here, we just like records. We dig that yellowing too in these old inner sleeves. Check out that fucking label. How can you resist it, man? Fucking Sinister Angel. Once again, want to know if it lives up to the cover? Well, this guy is what we have to live up to today. Gotta love the drummer. That's ambitious, you know? Another one I got a long time ago. So what did we talk about this video? We talked about some bullshit. About glam shit. We talked about Oz a little bit. And me being skeptical in an unkind way. And we talked about AOR. And we talked about some private pressings I found a long time ago. So I don't know, man. If you got something out of this one, then I appreciate you stopping by. And I appreciate you stopping by anyway, you know. So thanks for watching. And I'm going to let this go for just something. Fucking Sinister Angel, man. There's no end to the fucking great metal bands. Thanks for watching.